1, 2. Okay. Let's get back over to Iron Forge. To be honest, on a certain level, I kind of dislike the deep run Tran. Like, part of me was thinking, like, oh, you know, Iron Forge was helping Stormwind rebuild. It's useful for the transport of goods and materials. But would it really be that useful? Wouldn't it be better, like, running on the ground than dangling from the air? I suppose it'd be useful for personnel, but, It is secure transit. Unless something wants to burst through the walls here, or through the glass up here. Still didn't get updated. You know, it's secure, but just like viewed in that light, it's just like. Then again, it's a fancy setting. You know, maybe it's just that damn good. They can transport, you know, heavy loads on it, and it's just fine. Fancy setting. Sure, they got airships, you know. They kind of pulled them out of nowhere, honestly. There's no kind of like preamble up to them having airships prior to Wrath. They just kind of like soap and, you know, rocked up. You may say, steam tanks. Steam tanks are different to, you know, aerial capital ship. Better not have.
Hey! You have a great day now. Nice to meet you. Hi, how are you?
Oh, thank you.
Very well.
Thank you. Oh. Oh, I never did rebuy those herbs earlier. Remember how I sold one off? Yeah, I was actually mean to rebuy it. So I need leaded vials.
Hey!
Okay,
All right.
that's plenty. Not sure how many that is, but we'll find out. Seems to be 50. About half price, so a little over, so 2 would turn a slight profit, 3 would be obviously better. Two would turn a bit better of a profit, also. Huh. I could make my own black mount oils. Would turn me a bit better of a profit. Need 2 apiece. So I need 4 fish per thing. If I want to make 50. Then I need 200 fish. I can actually feel the gears turning there. Keep in mind, folks, I got like 3 or 4 hours sleep. Haven't had coffee yet. Yep, no. Okay. Yeah. I'll just buy the stack of 20. That should get me about right.
Inventory is full.
Thorium, sell. True silver rod, sell. Silk, sell. That's ridiculous. Alright then.
Well met.
I need to keep my inventory clear.
Keep your feet on the ground.
There's even more potions to sell. Vendor.
Need assistance?
There we go. Ooh, superior mana potions or something. Awesome. This is actually only 41 things. So, like, I need 2 fish per oil and 2 oils per potion. So, 4 fish per potion. I ended up just under the 50 mark that I was hoping for. But here, I'm gonna AFK for a bit, because I got like 4 messages now to respond to. So, BRB. I'm very popular. Hey folks, I'm gonna keep this brief. It just bugs me that this closed and this never got finished. I went AFK to get breakfast. Boom. Boom. And here's the beauty. 2 made, 4 made, 2 made, 2 made. I'm guaranteed to make 2. And 2 will draw in a profit. Anything more than 2 is pure profit. You may see like 2 1s appearing, that's just splitting stack. Okay, 2 is very common, but there's a 4. There's a 4, you filthy 4.
Goodbye now.
But 2 is very common, much more common than I hope to appear. I hope to get more trees, because 3 will be perfect. The profit margins on free action potions are a bit narrow. Certainly for me, they're a little better with the amount of black mount oil I made myself, but what am I saying? Yeah, the margins for me are a little better with the amount of black mount oil I made myself. I saved myself like 7 silver. But it's still not the best margins, you know? So I'm really hoping for better procs. Like, I got a 4 there. Jesus, my inventory filled. Fuck. Anyway, here, look. I'm gonna out-tab and have my breakfast. I didn't actually have it, I just kind of like, I'm gonna leave this work while I go, but then I kept talking, and then my inventory filled, and bleh. So, back in a bit. Hey folks, something's been bugging me for the last age, and I was just thinking, you know what, I have a moment here to record. I'll literally got a ping just now. It's probably just a video they saw. Yeah, there's a point I was trying to make in a previous video, but because I was trying to play and make the point, I made it poorly. Let me move this mic a bit closer. So, what's the point? Remember I was before talking about the different genres of manga. Shonen, shoujo, seinen, and josei. I'm guessing on pronunciation here. And I was saying shonen's aimed at teenage boys, shoujo is aimed at teenage girls, seinen's aimed at men, and josei's aimed at women. And I had a very negative view of josei. I've seen a few more josei pieces, and you wouldn't tell the difference between them and a shoujo. You wouldn't tell the difference between them and a shoujo. It's just basically, I've heard horror stories about romance novels by women for women, adult women, like adults. Like, if it's wrote by a woman for a woman, the likelihood of male lead character is a rapist and is a complete piece of shit, and you're meant to love him, raises really fucking high. There's a person I follow on Twitter, and it's apparently so bad that they've made a little doll for themselves to try and ward these stories off. There's so many virtual novels they play that turn into those stories. They've had to go make a talisman or something to try and ward it off. Maybe it's just a joking thing, but yeah. I look at 50 Shades. That's basically that. So at the time when I only consciously knew of reading 2 josei works, when half of them was that, I was worried that the whole genre was kind of a write-off. I suppose I'm engaging in the same thing as the shonen people, but at least I'm not there blaming all of manga like that. I'm just like side-eyeing josei, a small section of it, you know? That's it. But even then, I've seen a few more josei works pop up since, and yeah, like I said, you could have called them shoujo, and I wouldn't have known the difference. They didn't seem out of place. Like the one I'm thinking of right now, a chick was obsessed with a dude and chased after him, destroying his other possible marriages, because she wanted to get with him. And in the end, she succeeded, but he hated her guts. And he still tried to be a proper husband, but he fucking hated her guts. And in the end, fell for someone else. One thing leads to another, and he ends up dying, and she engages in a ritual to bring him back to life. It's going to kill, whether it succeeds or not, she's going to die, but she now has a year to save his life. She's been thrown back in time, and she's now a year to save his life. All the while, she is getting sicker and sicker. She is going to die. And this is a josei. It could have been a fucking shoujo, you know. No issue with it. But, like, it's a bit dramatic, but I'm thinking of Peach Girl right now that was a shoujo, and like this girl bickers with another girl. The other girl copies everything she does. Like, oh, she likes the guy, the main girl likes the guy, she likes the guy. Oh, main girl bought like this purse, she's bought the purse. You know, like everything, she copies the main chick on everything. So, but she's also very quick to fucking cry. And so, and as they say, in a fight between women, the first one to cry wins. Everyone will side with the crier. So, and the other one isn't quick to cry. So everyone just sees her as a brute and a bully. To be fair, she did try to throw herself out the window once when the guy she liked wouldn't go out with her, but anyway. That pained me saying it. Eventually they reveal the antagonist chick's antics gets revealed, and everyone quickly switches from hating the main chick to hating on her. She ends up hiring a dude to kidnap and pretend to rape the main chick. Keep in mind, this is aimed at teen girls. The girl is drugged, wakes up in this random, like, minor celebrity's bed, and he's fully acting as if he had just had his way with her in her sleep. We know he hasn't, but she then gets into the main chick's boyfriend's bed to rape him. They don't acknowledge that as rape. Basically, she wore the same perfume as the main chick. The lights out, she may have even had a wig on. She's trying to play that she's the main chick, so she can sleep with the main chick's boyfriend and be like, haha! Which kind of reminds me of Grimm, where the main guy in that gets raped by a chick pretending to be his girlfriend, and they end up getting together, and they kind of gloss over the fact that she raped him through deception. But anyway, that was a shoujo. Peach Girl there. That was a shoujo. So, the other thing could have well been a shoujo, but it was down as josei. So the genre the category as a whole isn't a write-off. It's some of it is, reader beware. But yeah, I kind of wish that they did have like you're looking at tags on sites for things. I wish they did have a subcategory, because you may see sexual assault on something, but you don't get any context beyond that. Like, if it's sexual assault, but the hero swoops in to, like, execute the person. Like, I'm writing a thing, and there is going to be sexual assault in it. But the main guy comes in, sees it, and then proceeds to beat the rapist to death. Paralyzes them, and then beats them to death. Or, executes them. It could very well happen a few times, and it goes down different ways. Gotta keep it fresh. But it will get the same tag as my guy coming in and doing the raping. We'll get the same category tag. I wish there was a different one. But, yeah, no. So, yeah. I basically just had a very negative view because of one half of the amount of josei I had seen was that. I'd knowingly read was that. And the amount of female romance novels that center on that idea of, as I put it, good rape. Again, I'm not saying rape is good, but look at 50 Shades. Their first sexual interaction is him throwing her onto a bed, forcing himself on her. She's saying no. He's saying, "Oh, you don't want your friend to hear now, do you? So, shut up, or you'll be getting into trouble with your friend for this." But she orgasms, so it's fine. So, it's good rape. He had a fat enough dick, fat enough wallet, it's fine. He was good looking enough, it's fine. Again, like, if this is your thing, acknowledge it as much, it's fine. If it's your thing, it's your thing. It's just, the thing that I think that mainly annoys me with people is calling it a BDSM novel or acting like he's anything other than a rapist. He clearly is one. Acknowledge it. It's why the women wishing for their own Christian Grey always feel so fucking creepy. Ugh. Like, goddamn. I'm not because of the coffee. The coffee's lovely. The latte. Vanilla. It's actually one of the ones from Aldi. Aldi. It's one of the ones from Aldi. I can never remember their like the brands that they have. Al Cafe or something. I can't remember what it is, but maybe I'm thinking of Nescafe there. But there's some brand I've only ever seen in Aldi, and it's a cheap coffee. They have a range within it of iced lattes, but they work just damn fine hot. In some ways, I think Mum ended up preferring them over the Nescafe hot or cold ones. And these are like half the price. So, I'm not sponsored. I will accept their money, but I'm not sponsored. I'm just simply saying something I like. But yeah, basically I've heard plenty of horror stories about female romance aimed novels, and I've seen it justified in what I've read of them. Like 50 Shades. I've read enough of that to have an opinion. I've also seen other bits of like romance material over time, and it has had that kind of thing going on in it. Then I've heard horror stories of other people of what those stories are like, that they've read or seen, and so when one half of Josai ended up being that, my immediate gut reaction was like, oh god, it's a whole like category of this, and I got lucky and read one that wasn't like that. I still don't remember the name of that one, the one that was fine. To be honest, I don't remember the names of any of them, but yeah, main chick's a streamer. The other guy, the main guy in that, was an office worker. They both met up at a cafe. He knows she's a streamer. She doesn't know he's a fan. And he wants to talk to her, but he's too scared, kind of, to actually talk to her. Like, he does give her some passing advice at times. And I think it annoyed her with how fucking right he was. But, yeah, they, so far, they haven't had much of a really dynamic going on. The cafe workers know he likes her. She doesn't. But, yeah. So, it was a cute enough work. It hasn't gotten weird or anything. Actually, saying about this does remind me of one other piece. And this is the last thing, then I'll leave you. Then I'll pause this again until I can actually play again. This was shonen. There was a guy, he saves a chick from getting raped, and he ends up fleeing. He's issues talking to girls because of them screwing him over repeatedly when he was younger. But the girl ends up being really into him because he fucking saved her. And serious unicorn, honestly. It's just like, damn it, should have been me. But her history comes back to bite them on the ass. They end up getting kidnapped by a guy who claimed to have had his way with her before, but they're pretty certain he hadn't and was just talking shit. So he's there to actually do it this time. He's kidnapped both of them. They're both butt naked, standing there. And he points to one of his guns and he's like, hey, you're gay, right? Go rape him. And it's just like... it's like, that's profoundly inclusive. Like, my gay henchman. Dinner bell. And then the hot bit from her was, she says, no, his virginity's mine. It's like, it should have been me. I don't know. The girl staking ownership like that sounds hot. Well, I'm presuming you're actually into her. Otherwise, it's just weird. It goes for anyone, But, I remember reading another work, and this guy ends up summoned to a magical world. His classmates gets powers. His power is that he gets to be repeatedly tortured to death. Yay! He's immortal. And he's repeatedly tortured, but he's eventually able to free himself and walk through the labyrinth filled with deadly traps, completely unaffected except for the immense trauma of dying repeatedly. He just walks through the traps, dies, and comes back. Doesn't even have to respawn at a bonfire. And he ends up finding a bit of the labyrinth that had broken. Finds a vampire inside that's being constantly drained. She's like stuck in a chair, constantly drained. So she asks for help. He provides it because it's just like, there's people chasing me. I kind of, don't have a choice. So he bleeds into her mouth, and that gives her enough mojo to free herself, and then free him, then grab him and fly out. And it's just like, this is clearly appealing to, like, overpowered vampire waifu, immortality. This is, fan service to a demographic, and rah, 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 and I will buy every second of it. I am that demographic. It's magnificent. Mwah. Magnifico. But yeah, they were selling to me. Just me in particular. But, actually, could I say one other funny thing? I'm going to say it anyway, because you can't stop me. But, you can skip ahead. Feel free, I won't be upset. I'll be sad, but nothing new there. I remember seeing a vid or a pic going around. It could have been a screenshot of a video, or maybe it was always just chick looking smug with captions. But she's like, oh, why do guys ask what women want? Like, we have romance novels out. They could just read them and know. And it's just like, rapist. Gotcha. CEO. Gotcha. Alright, fuck. I'm not the latter, and not the former either, and have no desire to be. And honestly, CEO sounds like a lot of work. So, I guess I'm off the table. Fantastic. Like, seriously, don't use romance novels as your basis for any part of the human relationship. Be they aimed at men or women. You shouldn't use them as a basis for it. Rape is a very common fetish in them. At least the ones aimed at women. And, like, if you're a chick and you're expecting that kind of treatment, you are looking for terrible people. And if you're a guy and you're like, doing that, you are a terrible person. And honestly, if a woman's looking for that, I argue she's a terrible person too, because that's fucking retarded. That's my moral statement here. So, yeah, I found that funny. It's just like, just go by what romance novels do. You mean rape? No, thank you. Like, yeah, no. That's a bit much. It's a bit much. But, the mic's actually picking me up fine right now. And it's actually over an arm's reach away. Like, I could probably grab it if I reached a bit more, but just sitting in almost a casual sitting position, I could almost get it. And now sitting in a more casual sitting position, I can't. It's like an extra hand and a half away. Or a hand away, maybe. But my hand and a bit of nail is 7 inches. I don't know how much nail. So, fun fact. But, yeah, oh god, what was I gonna say? My mind started drifting. But yeah, I remember seeing a chick saying that, and it's just like, do you even read them? Like, my god. Yeah. Maybe she does, and maybe she's been lucky in what she's read, or maybe she's just blind to it because hot guy, abs, fat cock, fat walked, whatever it is, whatever about the work was appealing to her, she ignored everything else. Maybe that's the case. Again, so many women crying, "Oh, I want my own personal Christian Grey." You mean rapist? You want your own personal rapist? Sure, love. Here, have 20. Lock the door, cement it over, job done. 21 retards gone. But yeah. So yeah, basically, the ultimate point of this was I feel I was unfair to Josai back then, and I wanted to correct myself. Basically, it's just simply cynicism from what I've read and heard about, novels for women by women, and it being Josai. And half of what I've not only read of Josai being that. So it just had me cynical that, like, it's a whole, like, the whole demographic was going to be tainted with it. But there's one thing to keep in mind. There could be a work that's effectively a shonen, but it ended up getting published in a seinen magazine. I remember seeing someone say that happened before, where a work got would really class as another thing, but the book it got published in was a seinen. It was another category. And I've seen people argue that, like, Banana Fish isn't yaoi, but shoujo. And if it's a shoujo, again, Banana Fish is about rape. Rape is a major plot point in it. There's two male leads. One got raped prior to the story, the other either got raped or barely avoided it during the story. I've watched the show about halfway. They talk about child sex rings in it. Like, it's pretty hardcore for a shoujo, you know? I've actually talked about Banana Fish before, saying it's taken male rape more seriously than the fucking UN. Apparently, according to The Guardian, which is a dubious paper, but this seemed to be like their one good work. They spent all their, like, journalism mojo on it. They were talking about how male rape in men being raped in African wars, and how it's not acknowledged. Apparently there's minor services out there that help them. Some guys were so fucked up that the doctors have dealt with so many of them that they can actually ID guys that have suffered it based on how they hold themselves, how they walk, how they sit, and the distinctive smell that follows them. I guess the damage of it. The UN turns these guys away. Well, they apparently turn them away. They claim they helped anyone, but they'll turn you away from being male. And these minor services can only do so much. So, this fucking anime acknowledging male rape victims of rape, how fucking terrible it is. Like, when people think of rape, they think of women being victimized. They think of girls being victimized. Fucking Banana Fish acknowledges rape is a bad thing, and men being the target. Like, fucking basically yaoi is doing more than UN services. We're saying it's bad, given that they turn men away at the door. How low the bar is. I'm kind of being semi-joking here and saying that they're doing much, because it is just a story, you know? But the other services are outright claiming they help people, then slamming the door on their face. So this crowd actually saying that this is a fucking issue, this is actually happening, it's actually doing something. You know? That's actually miles above. But anyway, I've talked here for like 20 minutes. I'll probably make this a separate video at this point. So, which kind of encourages me to keep talking. I like talking! But, yeah, basically, I feel it was unfair to Josai. There seems... I was just... It was a combination of cynicism and the fact that one half of what I read filled in with the cynicism. It kind of turned me off reading Josai, because I really hate seeing those stories. They don't do it for me. You know when a character, like... I remember a friend of mine was talking about Tommy Wiseau, and he was saying how Tommy Wiseau did a reading of a poem at a place, and they're like, yeah, no, that's not the poem, because he read it like as Tommy Wiseau, so he read it really weird. I felt so bad secondhand embarrassment. I wanted to flee from the place where the friend was telling me the story. We're upstairs in a cinema, and I wanted to fucking leg it out of there. Because I was just like, I was dying inside. So when... Oh, being logged out. So yeah, I feel the second embarrassment they should be feeling. So, I know. Sometimes, for whatever reason, when I read real or fake, someone doing something terrible, my mind decides to blame me for it, that I feel the guilt they should be feeling. And it's fucking irritating. It's something I need to work on. But yeah. And plus, and if I don't feel that, then I just want to throttle the character with my bare fucking hands. So, yeah, not a fan. Not a fan, basically. But, yeah. Basically, I feel I was unfair to Josai. That's all. There's more to it than just what I'd seen. It's just cynicism. I'm not a fan of that kind of thing, you know? I'm not a fan of that kind of thing. It doesn't do it for me. BSF? I do not know what BSF is. Oh, someone else is asking. Thank you, Shadowmite. Oh! Oh, it's Shadowfang. Shadowfang. But German. Someone else is saying Blackstone Fortress, but that's not one either. Ah, just making a joke. Wait, bashful. Let me drop my footage for a sec. Shockingly, not a guildie. Big sexy female. But yeah, oh, I'm kind of looping here now. Doesn't help. Like I said, I got 3 or 4 hours sleep. If I don't get enough sleep, I'm always a bit off kilter. You know, I'm gonna do a little like, woo. Ooh, excuse me. I find like the OCD gets worse and all that. It's just, it's not a good time. But, excuse me. So what am I saying? Yeah, I feel it was unfair to Josai. Using romance novels of any form as a guide for relationships sounds like a terrible fucking idea, given how terrible people in them are. I remember reading another romance manga, and I was into it up to the last chapter, where she says that she wants them to take a break for a bit. She isn't sure in the relationship, blah blah blah, and he accepts it. And they talk for a bit, and she re-emphasizes it, and they part ways. And he's like, "No, I want to be with her." And so he chases after her. And apparently that's what she wanted him to do the whole time, and she bitches at him about it. She wanted him to ignore everything she said and just do what he wanted. And it's just like, communication. I had to drop it right there and then because it's just like, I wanted to throttle her through the page. It's just like, I can never remember any of these names. I can never remember any of the names. Jesus, what the fuck? No, it's okay. It's okay. I thought I saw a fucking spider in my coffee. I just saw a black thing flicker for a second, but honestly, I've been so scared of the flies that sometimes I see them with my eyes closed. Like, I think I see a little black thing flying around. But, and they're not just floaters, like, though I'm getting plenty of those. I think I'm done. I think that's all I had to say. I just felt I gave an unfair rap to Shoujo, and I wanted to, not Shoujo, Josei. Unfair rap to Josei, so I wanted to, correct myself. I do feel like that maybe I was following the same thing that those other people were doing. Blame is saying that, oh, you know, manga is just, you know, fan service aimed at guys. When they were looking at shonen stuff, of course it's going to be like that. You're reading stuff aimed at teenage boys. Of course it's going to have horny stuff for teenage boys to get excited over. Of course it is. If you read shoujo, there's going to be a guy standing there that's constantly dehydrated, showing off six-pack, you know? If you know, there's fan service in them all, you know? And, you know, like yaois wrote by women for women. You know, there's a whole, you know, there's that. You know, boys' love is pretty much aimed at women. So, you know, it's two hot guys making out, you know? So. You know, fan service exists in all of it, you know? It's just a demographic. But yeah, I was a bit unfair to Josei. I was thinking that it was a tainted pool of just the same things, reasons I wouldn't look at romance novels. You know, that content. But, no, that would be unfair to it. There is untainted work. Like, I have no problem with fan service, but it's just like, I just don't approve of that fetish, honestly. I don't approve of it, I shame it. Same with NTR and different things. I shame it. Seriously, drop dead. But, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I was basically kind of immediately thinking it was a repugnant pool of just that. But no, that's unfair. There's other work in there that's untainted. Though it could be simply because it was a shoujo that got published in a josei. In a magazine. Who knows? Like, sometimes the demographics of a piece are informed less by the content of the piece and more where they're published. So, yeah. Actually, one last thing, then I'll leave. Yaoi, Bara, Yuri. Probably saying the names wrong. But Yaoi's boys' love, Bara's man's love, and Yuri is girls' love. So, two guys making out, two guys making out, two girls making out. Or more in any category. But, you could have a harem. But, you know, in the, like, yaoi, it'll be pretty boy that could look like a girl and more masculine dude. Then or they both could be kind of masculine. Still, one will probably be more masculine than the other, taller, broader, yaoi hands. Really huge hands. Bara would be both like beefcakes. Both dudes are bears. And this is like by men, for men. Gay men. And then Yori is like, two girls, making out, getting it on. So, lesbian stuff. I don't know if there's since there's boys' love and man's love, is there girls' love and woman's love? Is that a thing? It doesn't quite work as well because of the longer woman's doesn't flow as well as girls' love, man's love, boys' love. The others are shorter, it's catchier. Woman's love is a bit more verbose. Yeah. But anyway, I think I've said all I wanted to say here. I'll cut this out into a separate segment. But, I feel it was unfair to Josai there. Partially out of cynicism, and partially because half of what I read matched in with the cynicism. I just really don't get into that thing. That fetish and thing is very much nothing to do with me, It's very much not my thing. And I can accept things that aren't mine, but it just, there's lines everyone draws, Lines everyone draws, and that's one of them. So, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you join me again soon. I'm gonna leave this here. I'm done my coffee now, so I might actually start playing now. But, I meant to only spend like 10 minutes on this. That did not happen. Okay, that's tempting, because I would like to kill a Jurgos. If I could get a chance at that sword, that would be nice. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this rant about manga. Feel free to talk about them in the comments if you have any opinions and whatnot. But yeah, I do feel like I was kind of deviating into the same kind of territory as people complaining about, the shonen having fan service. I do feel I was kind of drifting into the same territory, but at least I was more, rather than blaming all of manga, and believing all of manga was like that, I was at least more precise in saying, Josai. I was a little bit more structured about it. I was still wrong, but I was a little better about it. I'm taking some solace in that. Is just that it's just a Josai that... Well, sorry. I'm taking solace in that I blamed just Josai for it, rather than all of manga. They were blaming all manga for the fan service of the other thing. I was extrapolating it too much for... Oh, I was tainting all of Josai, a small section of manga, with it, rather than all of manga, like the others were. So, I'm taking some solace in that. That at least narrowed my focus a bit more, Taking some solace in it. But, yeah, I'm gonna cut this into a separate segment, but I really don't know how to handle it on, episode-wise. Like, should I post it as a... as a part A? Should I make a part B? I feel I almost need to have an episode come after this to compensate for it. But if I'm posting, I wouldn't want to post it first either. So I almost need to feel I have it sandwiched. Nah. So yeah. Whatever. I hope you've enjoyed. And yeah, talk to you next time.